Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the BMW M Hybrid V8 GTP, this time at Mexico City for yet another track guide. Now, if you're running this in the open setup and you want to drive the exact setup being driven by Gianni in this track guide, you can go to our website, sambosetups.com, or you can go to our Patreon page. There are links in the description for both, as there are for LutzuDriverPerformance.com. That's Gianni's coaching website. As well as being a real-life racing driver, he is a full-time driver coach with over 4,000 hours under his belt of coaching sessions. I fully recommend him. He's the guy that took me from 1200 to 5k. Let's go. So here he is, smashing it down the main straight. What a long straight that is. Right, looking for the 5 marker on the left-hand side. As we get there, on the brakes, it's about 70%, wipe that speed off, down to second gear, back on the gas, head over to the right side, lift, and then another lift as we go through those 2 apexes. This car does sound fantastic now. Over to the right hand side, looking for the 2 marker, again holding it around 70%, wipe it off, down to first gear, cutting that corner, back on the gas, lightly on the brakes, and then smoothly back on the gas again, up to second. Now we're going to start braking, drop it down to first, back on the gas, just ahead of the second apex. Head over to the right side, we're going to brake midway between that outhouse and the marquee. I'll show you in the breakdown. Back on the gas in third, really cutting that corner. Now we're doing a lift, lightly on the brakes, head over to the left-hand side. Back on the brakes, only up to about 20%. Back on the gas in third, cut the corner, exit wide, head back over to the left-hand side. Don't hit the wall. On the brakes, just before the curbing, dropping it down to second, clipping that curb over to the right-hand side. Harder on the brakes, it's about 50%, but a long trail off, picking back up on the gas in first, taking a load of curb, and first gear for the final corner. And over and across the line in a 1:32.7. Right, with the breakdown lap coming up next. Right, let's do this breakdown lap. Right, so first off, we're looking for that 5 marker coming up on the left-hand side. So as we get there we go. It's right alongside us now. As we get there, on the brakes, and he hits a peak of sort of 70%, wipes that speed off, starts turning in just in between the 1 and the 2 markers, drops it down to second, and you want to be just clipping that curb on the right-hand side. Now he picks back up on the gas, but he doesn't get all the way up to 100%. He's just trying to move himself over to the right-hand side. Now he's back on the brakes, only up to sort of 3 or 4%, just to get the front wheels to bite into the tarmac. Now on the gas, doesn't make it up to 100% once again before he's doing this lift. And again, just clipping the curbing on the right-hand side, getting back up on the gas. A little bit slippy on exit, you saw there with him counter steering. Head over to the right side. We're looking for this 2 marker. There it is. And just before we get there, he's going to start braking. And again, holds it around 70%. Wipes that speed off, down to first gear, back on the gas at the apex, just clipping the corner. Heads over to the left-hand side. Again, doesn't make it up to 100% before he's very lightly on the brakes, as you can see here. He's going to trail that off, picking back up slowly on the gas in first gear. So he doesn't just mash that right foot down, because obviously he doesn't want to lose the rear. So again, it's just progressive in the GTPs. Up to second, now we're back on the brakes. Once the car's settled down off this curb on the left-hand side, he hits a peak pressure of almost 40%, trails it off down to in between the 2 apexes before slowly getting back up on the gas again. Less of a cliff face, more of a hill. Right, braking marker into turn 7. So you can see this porta potty on the right-hand side and the marquee, the white marquee further down. Braking point is midway between the 2, or more or less right in between these 2 lampposts you can see on the right-hand side. So as we get there, he's on the brakes, hits peak pressure of 47%, I saw. Trails that off in third gear, picking back up on the gas in third at the apex. It's going to exit nice and wide, and you're wanting to be exactly where he is. Any further over to the right side and it's an off track, any further over to the left hand side, you're costing yourself time here. There's a lift through there, and again, just light dab of the brakes as we go through turn 9 here. Head over to the left-hand side, and we're looking for this orange sort of marker. It's actually denoting where the marshal can hide behind. And he gets on the brakes up to sort of 25%, trails that off in third gear, little bit of correction going into this corner, and now he's getting back on the gas at the apex. Slippery little bugger, this car. Right, into 14, we're going to start braking exactly where he is now, so it's a couple of car lengths before the change in tarmac colour or the start of the curbing on the left-hand side. And again, hits a peak pressure of sort of 70% before dropping it all the way down to second gear, getting back on the gas at the apex, just clipping some of that curb and just using that sausage curb just to straighten out the rear. Basically, as soon as we're halfway across the track, heading towards the outside of turn 13, that's when he's back on the brakes, up to about 50%, but it's a long, long trail off, picking back up on the gas in first gear, more or less once you're pointing at that weird, I don't know, it looks like a quarter of a golf ball that's gone rusty. Back on the gas, doing a lift as we go through this, up to second gear, but basically as soon as you straightened out and almost pointing at that D, you are back on the brakes, final time up to about 40%, trailing it off down to first gear and picking back up on the gas at the apex. And that is a breakdown lap of Mexico City in the BMW GTP. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. For those of you that like to learn that